Start with Mel.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another week here at Wired Differently. I am Christina Blue Hooper, your business designer. With me today is Victoria Caldwell, your fractional COO and people systems expert, and mindset Melanie Branch, your expert at getting your brain to behave so you can do the things you need to do. All right, today's topic, guys, we are here to talk about what to do when your branding is all over the place. All over the place. So I'm going to tag. Oh, who do I pick first? Let's start with Victoria because you have all of the marketing expertise in the background. So branding's a big, big, big part of that. So jump in, give us your thoughts on this one, Victoria.
My thing is it's an indication when the branding is all over the place is that you're not clear and focused on what you do and what business that you're in. That's one. And one of the things that we do is we start with our core mission, vision, values. We look at what business are we in? What are we the best at? What are we going to dominate in? And when you really hone that in and really do and I'm not talking about like these just one sentences, they might come out, but the activities to get to that may take hours to really sit and hone in on who you are, why you exist as a business. And when you don't do that exercise, then you're all over the place in everything you do, not just your branding. The products that you have, you're selling one thing the next day and then you get bored and you're selling something else and you're changing stuff up and you're pivoting and doing this. And it's because you're not clear on who you are and what you do and why you're here to begin with. So branding is just more collateral damage, but it's not. Usually when the branding is all over the place, other things are all over the place too. So that's why that's one of the first activities we do to make sure that everything is on alignment. You know, when you decide to put out a new product or you decide to buy a company or merge and everything is in alignment with what and who you are, then you won't have those. And it makes branding so much easier.
I like that one. All right, I'm tagging in Melanie for next because like you do such a phenomenal job of your personal brand kind of all over the place, especially in like your video marketing and your lives and how you show up on camera every single time you show up. So dive into this.
From the optics perspective of branding, not necessarily the business side of it, because we all know how I feel about graphic design. Just really not my thing. But, you know, it's so important that you're recognizable and that all of your content is recognizable. And I had a thought of who can be No, is it me? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're back.
One person who's doing this really well is the holistic psychologist who is on Instagram. She's on TikTok. Every time you see her short form video, even if it's not her, you know it's her video. Every time she does carousel posts on Instagram that are just letters on, it's like pink and dark pink, like it's nothing, you know it's her because she sticks to it and because it's true to who she is as a person, right? Your branding has to reflect your style and your style has to reflect your branding. Because if you are growing as a service-based business owner who's got to be front and center, look at the Hermosis, look at all these other people that are like, oh, to take my company to the next level, I have to have a recognizable personal brand. So when you really zero in on how do I want to be perceived, you have to think about like, how am I treating myself? Because if your branding isn't consistent, you know your self-care isn't either.
Oh, I love my business partners because like I hope everybody kind of picked up on what just happened there. One said your business is all over the place if your branding is all over the place. And the other one said you even taking care of yourself in the day-to-day is all over the place if your branding is all over the place. Like powerful, powerful insights. It's like, what do I even add to that? I'm not even real sure. I would say probably the biggest thing that is showing up in both sides is consistency, right? Like that's the trick, really. That's what branding is all about is consistency. Being able to recognize somebody, like Melanie said, when you're like sitting here doom scrolling or you're clearing out your inbox of all of the emails that came in over the weekend on like a Monday morning. And that one shows up that you're like, oh, that's from so-and-so. Hang on. Let me read that real quick before I delete it. Or let me stop and watch that video real quick or read that social post real quick. At the end of the day, when we're talking about branding, that's really what it is a commitment to consistency. right? Showing up with the same fonts, the same colors, the same imagery, the same products, the same messaging, the same mission, the same purpose, the same values, the same consistently over and over and over and over again, because people are getting to know you over time. Right.
Yep.
They're absorbing your content. They're following you on social. They're stalking your emails. They're going to things that you're speaking at. They're getting to know you over time. And if every time they see you, you're a different person, looking a different way, talking about a different thing, they're never going to learn to trust you.
Yeah.
Right. We don't trust people who show up differently every single time. We trust the people the most who show up for us the same way, consistently, every time. So I think, to me, that is really, if you just had to look at my brands all over the place, what do I do? How can we be more consistent? What is the part that is the most chaotic, and how can we make it more consistent? So I think I kind of accidentally answered this question.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the ones that are inconsistent are also unclear.
Yeah.
They're not sure who they are, so they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. They're not sure, so they're consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
They're reactionary instead of intentional is another big one. Like, we talk a lot about how to live intentionally instead of reactionally.
It's like, who are we intentionally, and who are we going to be consistently?
What are we selling? Who are we selling it to?
People show up like that. It's safe. Otherwise, we don't know what we're going to get. You put something out there and you love the products. It's like me and Trader Joe's. Wait until I get, hooked on something, and then they stop selling it. But, I digress. I'm not bitter.
Oh, man. Facts. So, like, when we're talking cohesive brand identity, we're talking about consistency. We're talking about a commitment to consistency, a commitment to certain products and services. We're talking about not making decisions to change everything, upend everything without data, without, knowing for a fact. Because, like, so many people will be like, okay, so I just launched this thing. I've been trying for like 3 weeks now to sell it. Nobody's buying it. I don't know what to do. I must change up all of my messaging. I must change up all of my everything, because, like, we're looking at our bank balance and we're going, crap, what do I do? Right? And we're freaking out. And instead of just doubling down on the things we already said we're trying to do, we like, this must not work because I've tried for a whole 2 weeks and it's not working. So we need to implode it and go do something else. Right? Guilty. Has done multiple times. So I sympathize. But it's something we really have to work on, right? And cohesive brand identity is, it's visual elements. It's soft skills. It's how you talk. It's how you show up. Like, if you show up on Melanie's lives, you're getting the same person every single time, right? Her mannerisms are the same. What she talks about is the same. How she manages the community is the same. Now, the topic of the day, the topic du jour, whatever is going on in her life, is all over the place, right? One day you show up and she's cooking, dinner for her doggos. Yeah. The next day you show up.
She cooks more dog food than anybody than people food.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's like some consistency to the topics. Like, we see commitment to self-care as a common theme. We see, astrological events, magic, spirit guides as a common theme. We see mindset as a common theme. So we see some common threads, right? But how she shows up is the same.
The secret to that's so funny too, because my last 5 lives in these past week, every single one of them, multiple people have said, oh my God, I feel like you're talking directly to me. This was the exact thing that I needed to hear right now in this point in time. I don't think you understand. And all those topics were different and all those people were different, but they came to the right place. And that's because I'm sitting here acting intentionally. I wake up in the morning and I say, here are the things that I have to do. So these are the things that have to happen to make those things happen. And, what are the non-negotiables? What are the things that are, just icing on the cake, that sort of thing. And I'm able to connect to my intuition and just my guiding light of acting in the way that is to my highest good. Because if it's in my highest good, it's in everybody else's, which is why if you're looking for consistency and growing your brand in a cohesive way, you are the root of that. You're the foundation.
Yeah.
So before we go hire a graphic designer to fix our logo, which is important at one step of the process, a little bit farther away, than where a lot of the people that we're dealing with at the Neuro-Spicy Academy and so on are. But like, can you really just zero in on how you want to look every day? And then that will make your brand a little bit more cohesive. And then, okay, so here's how I get myself ready. Here's how I show up on camera, right? There's cohesion right there.
Yeah. And it can be like a single color or a single element that you show up with all the time. Like me and Melanie come baked with ours all the time because I've got the blue hair, I've got the pink hair. Victoria chooses the purple hijab because that's on brand. So purple hijab and a red lip, on brand, right? I know one lady who always wears a red shirt, different styles, right? Sweaters, t-shirts, crop top, whatever, but it is always a red shirt. Always. Red shirt, red lip. You know, I had a guy that, you know, I'm good friends with. Some of you may know who he is, but he was telling me the story about how he started buying these Superman hats that for, you know, his kid. It was just a thing. His kid gave him one. He got really excited about it. It became a thing. He started getting Superman hats all the time. And I was like, why don't you just wear them in all of your videos? You've got a huge collection. You've got plenty. So he wears, I mean, a wide variety of hat styles. He even gets hats custom made now that have the Superman stuff on them. Superman colors.
But so many Superman hats that, I mean,
he's got hundreds. I think at this point it's a couple of hundred now because he collects them. So it's become a thing, right? People gift them to him. It's just a huge, but it's just a simple hat. Every single time, just a Superman hat of some kind. And it became so much a part of his brand that he told me that at one event, he took the hat off and he set it in a seat next to him. Nobody came up and talked to him while he's eating food. And just, you know, normally people come up and chat with him. He's like, nobody came up, and he took the hat and he put it back on. Then everybody started going, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Right. It became a huge part of his brand. So it can be something that simple of just picking something that shows up with you consistently over time. But I think one of the biggest things I hear, and I don't even think I have this question in my queue, so I'm just going to go sideways. It's hard to build a personal brand if you don't know who you are. And I know, like, especially me and Melanie, we deal with a lot of neurodivergent people. We deal with a lot of neurodivergent women who are so repressed in their identity until they figure out in their like late 30s, early 40s that they're neurodivergent. And now we're like, okay, my entire identity is wrapped up in people pleasing others. Wwho am I?
Masking.
I don't know. Right?
Pretending to be who I think you want me to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the same with flow. You know, when we talk about flow states a lot, it's the exact same because most people don't know what that is because they spent their whole life being something that someone told them they were supposed to be.
And doing things people said they were supposed to
experience in areas that don't light them up. And you ask them and they have no idea. Yeah. Because they're really good at something. And that's their identity now.
Yeah. And that was the whole first part of my career, right? Because it was like, I started out doing graphics design, logos, branding, that kind of thing when I first started opening my business. And I had a lot of fun with it. I was very crafty, creative kind of person. So that was fun for me. It was a good stretch. Like I almost could nail people's like logos the first time, which for anybody who's in the logo design world is unheard of. Like 80, 90% of the time, the first logo I sent somebody, they were like, yes. Right. Maybe one revision. And people's like, oh, you can't do that. Those are projects and it's small projects and you need to make more money and you need to, why don't you go ahead and do the websites? Because after the logo, they need their website, right? Yeah, okay, sure, I guess. So I learned how to build websites. And then everybody's like, well, that's not enough. That's project-based work. You need to be doing retainer type stuff. So like back in the day, HubSpot's, you know, Salesforce would come out and go after anybody in like the SEO, the website design and be like, you need to be an agency. I was like, okay, I'll be an agency. That makes a lot of sense. Like I fought them for a while, but like exactly what Victoria's saying. I was doing things because other people told me this is what my business needs. I wasn't looking at, is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to build a business doing? Do I want to manage a team of people doing this thing? Do I even want to help clients in this way? Does this even help clients? Right? I wasn't asking any of those questions. I was just doing what people told me to do. So of course I was miserable. Like even when I met Melanie, the whole reason I was doing a stupid course in the first place is because people told me I needed to do a course. So go figure why I couldn't get my brain to do it. Everybody's like, you need passive income doing a course, right? And my brain wouldn't do it. And I'm fighting my brain. Like I was fighting my brain to the point I was in tears. I was begging my husband to like help me body double, do something with like, I don't know what to do. I need everybody to leave me alone. I just need to go in a hole. I need to focus. I need no distractions. And I was trying everything, all the things everybody told me to do. So you are not going to have a good personal brand if that's what's happening under the surface of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not.
And you need to, like you said, discover who you are. How many of you know who you are and what business that you're in? Clearly, like succinctly, within 3 to 5 words, maybe 7. You know, to say who I am, this is what I do, and this is what I do better than anybody else.
Yeah. Most people don't know that, and they don't know how they do it. They don't know, like you were speaking to flow state, Melanie's speaking to self-care and some of the stuff. Like, if you don't recharge your tank, you're not going to show up and make content and do stuff, right? If you're spending your days forcing yourself to do a bunch of tasks that suck that you don't want to do, you're not going to do that all the time. If you're selling group coaching programs and you hate everybody in the group, why are you showing up? Why did you create this group? You don't even like the people in it. You know what I mean? Like, think about what is going on. Most people have an easier time with what they don't want than what they do want. So it's like, if you're in this bad state in life right now, and this was going to continue for 10 years, and you could remove like 3 things so you wouldn't be doing them 10 years from now, what would it be?
Yeah.
You know, what are the things you're getting rid of that are not going to follow you? Like, I could not possibly do this for 10 more years.
Yeah.
All right. Write them down. Take them out. Why are we like, literally, I design businesses for a living. I'm telling you, you can do freaking damn near anything.
I feel like we should be doing a challenge with this.
Oh, I don't know what the challenge would be.
Me either. I just thought about it just now, and so I'm probably putting my foot in my mouth. But it feels like a challenge coming on.
Find yourself challenge. Yeah. Oh,
it'd be messy.
It'd be zoom it around on that one a little bit.
At the end, you'll be closer.
What is the next question? Bring them back. I'm the anchor here. Bring them back. What's the next question?
Okay. Next question.
Like
key
helium
elements of a strong brand message. Oh, this one's a fun one. I would say curiosity. We need to create curiosity, because you are never going to communicate everything you do in just a sentence or two, a 60-second elevator pitch. Like, your impact is what you're trying to communicate. We're not trying to communicate your products and services. We're trying to communicate how you change people's lives, how you help them get from point A to point B better, faster, and with a greater chance of success, right? Like, faster, easier, greater chance. I said it wrong. I even messed up my own catchphrase. We're trying to get them from A to B, faster, easier, greater chance of success. Was that a cookie that looked delicious? It's that kind of day, man. So we're trying to create curiosity. We're not trying to communicate what we do. We're trying to communicate how it helps people. So that would be like my main elements. Like, when I walk up and I tell somebody's like, "Hi, what do you do?" I would normally used to launch into a big elevator pitch. Now I'm just like, I'm a neurodivergent business designer.
Yeah.
Oh. And they're like, "Wait,
what?
You do what?" Right. Yeah. And then I get a chance to explain. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You have permission to speak more than a sentence at that point.
And the other thing I would say is, we've already said it, but clarity. I mean, how many times do you sit on calls and people tell you what they do, and it's like they talk and you have no idea what they just said. And you're like, can you write, you say that in plain English? Because if you follow these scripts, they sound like robots.
Yeah. And you can tell when they've memorized the script. They literally sound like a robot. They're like, wait a minute, loading. Okay, I do.
I do this and this, and I hope did it. And you're like, what? Who let you?
I would also say, don't try and please everyone with your message. Like, just be clear with who you're talking to. And this is important too from a social media perspective, because you can really fight off the trolls without having to do anything if you are speaking to a very clear group of people with your content. Because if I say something about female founders, neurodivergent CEOs, that sort of thing, and some angry, not of that group of people human comes into my comments and starts popping off, I can simply say, this wasn't for you.
Right. So clarity
So it doesn't
in
have to
who
make
you
sense to you.
are and who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the curiosity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and don't be afraid to scare people away. I know we talk about that a lot, and I'm always in my head. I'm like, when I'm writing content, publishing about, I'm like, did I poison dart frog them? Like Melanie talks about that one a lot. Like poison dart frogs are really bright colors to scare away predators and people who don't belong. Basically, people are going to try and eat you alive, so we scare them away, right? The hair alone does it. You know, it's like Victoria's hijab does it. Sometimes you have visual elements that do it. The fact we show up, how dare we, with like boobs and femaleness? How dare we, right?
Pink
So
hair.
it's like you're going to scare away some people just by existing without even trying, and that's okay, right? So anybody out here who's like, I don't know if I could dye my hair bright colors because people might not buy from me anymore. Please do. Please just go do it.
Please do it.
Test it out with a wig if you have to, but like, please go do it. Just go. Just dive. Just have fun, right? Because we have to scare people away. So we need to attract and repel.
Yeah.
We need to be clear on our
Neuro-Spicy branding. You know how many people this scares away? The Neuro-Spicy branding is a major deterrent.
Yeah. Oh, and it even scares away neurodivergent people. That's what's real funny, because like some neurodivergent people really hate that we poke fun at it by calling it Neuro-Spicy. They're like, this is a serious mental illness. Agreed. We have it. We understand. And if we just spent our whole day marinating in all the challenges, we could not be the happy people that we are today. It just wouldn't work, right? So your branding can even scare away people that you wouldn't think it would scare away. And that's a good thing, because imagine if all those people that you scared away didn't get scared away and they just hung out and they were just in a room with you. And
I mean, imagine you have a whole bunch of discovery calls for potential high ticket coaching clients, and they all come in and they all like Trump, and you're like, something is wrong here. This is not what I'm like. Think of all the time and energy and focus that you're saving by being authentically yourself, and then just portraying different parts of that authentic self out there into the world, and then getting these high ticket coaching clients from that. That's the dream. Oh wait, I'm living it. You're right. But like, seriously, if you're going to magnetize yourself, that means repelling what's not right.
Yeah.
This
absolutely.
is on and off camera, Melanie. So
yeah, I mean, it's and when we're just hanging out by ourselves, this is the same vibe. Maybe we don't interrupt each other as much when we're
There's
not
more burping
on a live show, but other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this topic so much. It's so good. Okay. The next question, how do I ensure consistency across all of my marketing channels? I think we've kind of talked about this a lot, but it primarily is intention, right? It's intentionally saying, hey, what are all of my marketing channels? I cannot tell you how many people have a social media profile, website pages, funnel pages, stuff that they don't even remember that exist because they're not keeping up with it, right? Like I set that page up, back in like 2020 or like 2001 or some shit. Like I've had that social media profile for like an eternity, and I've forgotten it even existed. So if somebody were to stumble upon it, it's going to look inconsistent. So my biggest tip is make a list of all your properties, right? These are your assets. These are digital real estate. Imagine if you lost a house that you owned somewhere, right? Like that is just as ridiculous.
I've lost my platform before. It's terrible. It's heartbreaking. It's the worst thing in the world to have 45,000 followers ripped out from underneath you and have to build a new page brick by brick the next day.
Yeah, well, you didn't lose it. You got evicted. It didn't go missing. They just said bye. Which
is there any other way to lose one?
Yeah, I mean, I have people that just forgot it existed. I go searching them and I find it, and they're like, "Oh, I forgot I had that Facebook page," and they've already
on Twitter
created a whole nother one. Right. So it's like, that would be my biggest tip, is just make a list of all of your digital real estate, all of your assets, keep up with it. If I could Google it and find it, you should know it's there. Right.
And you should be repurposing. I had a call with a brand new client yesterday, and she's like, well, I'm trying to go on all these other platforms and make content. I said, wait, you're trying to film and edit and release on a Facebook video, and then you're trying to go to Instagram and film and edit and release an Instagram video, and then go to TikTok and film and edit. And she goes, yeah. And I said, no, ma'am, make the content on TikTok, save it without a watermark, and repost it everywhere else. And she goes, wow, that seems like it'd be so much easier.
My only cautionary tale, and I teach this to our students and a Med Blueprint workshop, if you have not been posting on social media at all, right? Like you haven't been creating content consistently, you still got to build that muscle. Pick 2 social media channels and only 2, and get good at making content for those. Do that for at least 3 months. At least 3 months of consistent concentration. Try and focus on
you
some
said something else
topics that don't expire. Try and focus on things that aren't holidays, et cetera, like stuff that would still be valid 3 months from now. Then you can go back and repurpose that. So after you've built that muscle and you can produce the content, now you can come in and say, let me take the 3 months of content I've been producing and just go repurpose that, right? So you can just spend a day or 2 and just like repurpose all that, schedule it out onto all these other channels. We can post and ghost other channels and have 2 that are very carefully, we're paying attention, we're putting stuff out, we're really trying for engagement, we're trying to do good, post and ghost the others, right? So that's kind of my cautionary tale, is for somebody who's just getting used to making content in the first place and you've got to build that muscle up, it's going to be hard to create original content and repurpose content at the same time.
And let's do something that you do very well. Define consistency when it comes to this.
Oh, consistency is whatever is sustainable for you. So like, I can't tell you how many times when we say consistent, people are like, well, that means every day. No, it doesn't.
Right.
Especially from a neurodivergent person, we are afraid we're going to forget. Right. So like, if we're like, I'm just going to make content once a week or once a month, I'm afraid I'm going to forget about it. So we set our consistency at a higher threshold so that we'll try and remember. Come up with other things. Get an accountability buddy. Come onto the campus and use, you know, if you're in the academy, come on campus, use the body double sessions that we have on there to work with someone else. Schedule those out, know what you're doing. Set reminders on your calendar. Like there's so many other strategies. Consistency can be as simple as once a month. Okay. Especially if you're producing really good, high quality content, right? If you're making some how-to in-depth tutorials, screen sharing, blah, 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 blah. Like if you're getting into the content, you're not doing that daily. You're probably not even doing that weekly.
Yeah.
And once you get a few really good pieces of content out, it is so easy to take the content that's been doing well, right? So you've got like 2 primary channels, 3 months of content. You've got, you know, maybe you've done something once a week was your version of consistency. We have 12 pieces of good content. Now we can go back and repurpose all those. Chop them up, put them into different places, repurpose them into different formats. If you can afford it, hire a VA and don't even do that yourself.
Whoop, whoop.
Right. Because it's like creating it and batching it is different from posting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the subject matter expert. Your unique insights and soapbox moments are what we really got to get into the content. That's the thing that somebody else can't help you with. That's the muscle you have to build. But everything else, repurposing it, like if you like making video content, make video content. If you like going live, go live. Somebody else, an assistant, can take your lives, pull it in and get a transcript, turn that into blog articles, turn that into social posts, turn that into quotes. Cut out little short videos and put those places. Stitch together several short videos to make a longer video. Take your longer video and post that in several different places. Like there are so many ways we can repurpose stuff. Your main focus has to be building the original source of content.
Yeah.
And then you can turn on way fewer brain cells to repurpose it yourself or give it to a VA and let them do it.
You have to make sure that you're talking about relevant topics to both the people that you are targeting as your prospective new clients in the community you're building, but also just to like be interesting on the internet. Because if you're posting about shit that nobody cares about, it doesn't matter how pretty you make it or how appealing you make it. If it's not solving the problem that they're interested in, why make it at all? What are we doing here? Right. So it's really important to, like you just said, like stay true to your messaging and what you talk about over and over and over again. So like if there is something crazy that happened on Love Island and you're a Love Island fan and your community is a Love Island fan, talk about something that happened and bring it back to something that you sell, right? That'll keep you on brand all the time and relevant if you can talk about something that's happening and then bring it back to why you're here on this earth and what your business is about.
Yep. Oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. And I mean, something else that you can look at when you're doing kind of this delayed repurposing strategy is you may not repurpose every piece of content.
Yeah.
Right. You're refining your message. You're learning how to talk about things. Some of your earliest iterations are not going to do very well. They're just not. Right. It's going to take you between 60 and 90 days on any social media platform for the algorithm to understand you.
Yeah.
And that depends on how much content you're putting out, right? So the more content you put out, the faster the algorithm can learn who you are, who's going to interact with your stuff. The algorithm's going to wait. It's not going to put you in front of people if you're new here and you're just starting to post things and it doesn't know if you're going to disappear in 2 or 3 months, right? Algorithms build trust in you the same way humans do. Looking at what's going on, looking at who's engaging, looking at what you're putting out, learning about you, right? Computers take time to learn about you just like people do. So your earliest content's not going to get very many views, not going to get very much engagement, not going to get very much reach anyway. It might not even be worth the repurposing effort. But if a few of those pieces, like if your average is like 200 views, and then you get a few of these that are like 500, 600, 1,000 views, cool, let's repurpose those. Let's put our time and energy there.
Yeah. And some of the stuff will surprise you. What people are really, the things that we think, no big deal. Other ones are like, oh my God.
Yeah, like you just changed my whole life. I've never thought about it that way before. Holy crap. And we're like, really? That's just like a thing I've been doing every Tuesday for 10 years.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I didn't think I was a thing, right? Like, and then some of it'll be like viral in a bad way. Like Melanie got to experience that. She had one that was like a controversial post, which we like controversial posts. They are okay. But she wasn't intending that one to be a controversial post, and it ended up being one. So it got a lot of reach in a bad way. We don't want to repurpose that, right? You gave it a little bit of time to see what's up and ended up just taking it down. Like, we're definitely not repurposing that. So think about some of that kind of stuff when we're talking about consistently. Like, less is more most of the time, because you're going to do better. You're going to be able to get your message refined. You're going to be able to like fewer channels to focus on, because these different platforms have all these different tools and features and things that they like and things they don't like. And if you're using the platforms that you enjoy anyway, right? That's another big one. Pick the ones you like to be on. Pick the ones you use as a human that you will just doom scroll for an hour or two and have a good time. And it makes you feel good, because you're going to learn the platform organically. You're not going to have to like go to school on it and like, learn all the ins and outs on it, buy courses, spend hours and hours learning and blah, 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 blah. You're learning while you're scrolling. Okay. Very helpful to just start with those. All right. Oh, we did kind of have this one a little bit. We did have this question. I thought I just went off on a tangent earlier. I didn't. It was a real one. If I don't really know who I am or how I want to show up online. We kind of talked it a little bit, but I don't know that we gave like concrete steps or advice to figure some of this out. I mean, I said pick one thing that you can start incorporating, a color, an element, clothing style. Pick one thing that you can show up visually. I don't know. What else, Melanie?
If you don't know who you are, this is a great way to find out. It's a great way to find out by looking at the things, like you said, we know what we don't like. Okay, list them, but look at also what are the things that we do like, what we do enjoy, what we admire, and seeing how we can say, because when you're out of flow and when you're in flow, when something lights you up, and you can start looking at those things that really light you up and seeing how you can duplicate that in different areas of your life. And one thing with showing up authentically online, in the beginning, they're going to be crap. Okay. And nobody's going to see them. So you can get in there and just practice. And what I've learned from other mentors is that when you do it, the good thing about it is no one sees those early things, right? While you're figuring it out. By the time you start getting some critical mass, you've honed in your voice. The celebrities do it. Comedians do it, because they realize that, okay, they're refining themselves. They're finding themselves. They're finding their unique voice, but they're doing it in motion.
Yeah. And some people love it. They love going back to your early videos and seeing the transformation and coming along for the ride. They're like, man, look at your glow up. Like I saw the funniest one the other day on TikTok. I watched way too many of his videos. It's embarrassing. He is like doing these cooking videos, but he's doing thirst trap cooking videos, right? Like thirst trap, like playing the piano, making delicious pastries, diving in. Okay, I'll give you an. That's
our FYPs are very different.
Right. I don't know what happened with that one, how it showed up. But I went back, I saw some people commenting like, such an amazing glow up. You're doing so much better on your videos. And I was like, how did he start? Right. So I go back to the early videos. And I mean, this was the most embarrassingly awkward young man I've ever seen.
Oh,
he was making the worst jokes. He was wearing this cheesy apron. He was nowhere near as thirst trappy as he is now. I mean, I have never seen such a glow up, and people were celebrating it. Like it was amazing. And I mean, it was like literally from one video to the next in the span of like a month's time. I'm like, who is your coach? Who did something for you? Because this is wild, right? And that's it. You learn as you're showing up. Even if, and I get this a lot, I get a lot of people that don't even know what they're selling, don't know who they're selling it to, don't know who they are, have no freaking clue what they're going to do. And they're like, what do I do? Just start making content. Start talking about the things that you have fun with in your life.
Yeah.
Just talk about the fun stuff, because like your crowd, your raving fans will show up. You know, look at how many people that are full-time content creators on YouTube or on, TikTok or places like that. Like, they just started talking about things they found fun over and over again. Like I can't tell you how many people I follow as they take their phones through the woods and they're picking mushrooms. I have no idea why I'm following so many. I'm never going to go wander around the woods and pick mushrooms. I don't like the out of doors, but it is so much fun to watch. And that's all they're doing. And they turn that into things. They turn that into cookbooks. They turn that into like guides that they sell. They turn that into like classes that they teach locally where they take groups foraging through the forest, right? And all it started with was, I'm going to go pick mushrooms. You want to come? That's it. And it turned into a whole business, right? If you're having fun with it, people want to be around people that are fun.
Yeah.
They don't want to be around people who are complaining about their life all the time. So just talk about the fun things. Start there and keep going. Melanie, we have like jumped on the soapbox hard. What do you got to say about this? Because you
I have so many ideas coming in now. I mean, you have to get okay with the fear of being perceived and with your like fear of being seen. You have to get okay with putting yourself out there. You have to get okay with the fact that some idiot from your hometown is going to see that and be like, oh, who does she think she is? And some family member of yours is going to be like, oh. But do it for the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are out there in the world that desperately need to see your content and your message, right? Show up, do it as consistently as you can. If that means you can only make videos once a week, then just make videos once a week. I don't care. But you have to put yourself out there, and you have to do it in a way that is meaningful, which is video and pictures and your face to their face. You're not seeing them, but you know what I mean? Like, just, there's really no excuse for not doing it. If you're building a personal brand, if you're building a brand for your company, whatever it is, you just have to do it. There's no excuse.
Boom. I'm going to throw this one out there because I've been seeing this a lot. Faceless videos, faceless reels, faceless channels. Of course.
Now, you see Mel's response to that.
Yep. You want to hop up on that?
I don't. Okay, here's my whole idea with that. Let me get on my soapbox. I'm glad we brought this up. If you're going to spend all of that time combing the internet for the quotes and stuff that you're going to put up there, combing the internet or creating the stock videos for those things, posting it, checking your analytics, monetizing, why aren't you just showing up and like showing your life? How boring is your life now that this is the business that you focus on instead of making your life exciting and turning that into a business? It just doesn't make any sense. Anyways.
All right. So I'll grab my soapbox for a second because I agree with that, but I also have a little bit slightly different take on it. Do you want to make money fast? Right.
Yeah.
I hear all the time. Nobody's going to say no to that. Everybody's like, yes, I want money. I want money yesterday. I need money yesterday. I hate how little I have. I hate that my debt is this. I hate that my bills are this. I hate that I'm living this paycheck to paycheck. I hate all these things about not having money, and I want money fast. Do you trust a company or a human faster? Right. If I'm looking at a faceless brand, even if it's consistent, even if all of like the imagery is similar, the videos are similar, the, you know, whatever, even if it's all similar, I just don't emotionally relate to that generic stuff like I do a human, hopping on a soapbox. If I see somebody super passionate that I trust is experienced and knowledgeable on a topic, get on their soapbox. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take them seriously. You can tell when somebody is on a soapbox, when this is something that they are passionate about, they've done the research into it. They are, if you agree and you relate to their passion, you're going to be like, yes, please. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You. I need you. Right. So if you want to make money fast, you can't do faceless channels.
Yeah.
You can do some stuff that doesn't have your face, but that doesn't need to be, that needs to be like 20%. Yeah. Most of it needs to have your face in some way, shape, form, or fashion. B-roll photos, whatever. Melanie's got lots of examples. You can go check all of her stuff. She's very good at it. There's lots of stuff, right? But you just got to have your face. You just have to. Victoria, would you like a soapbox?
Well, I would say this. You have to evaluate. You see one or two people doing okay with that. One or two. You've already said the other things, but you have to evaluate why you're doing it. Because those people put out really good content.
Yeah.
The ones that do well, their content is exceptional. It's not just faceless, it's exceptionally faceless to where and it's just easier to not have to go through all of that. They made it because their content is so good that you don't need a face. Most of the people who are asking questions like this, they're not making any kind of great content that people are attaching to the person on top of the content. And that's why they can get away with it. So don't get lulled into this false sense of security that you can, and I'm not saying you can't do it, just be prepared to work even harder than you would have to do it without it.
Yeah.
Without showing up and being authentic.
That is such a good point. That's such a good point. The only use case that I can think of where it would make sense to put that kind of effort into creating a faceless channel is if something about your face isn't in alignment with the audience that you're targeting. Right. So this is like if you are have a really bad accent, English is not your good primary language, et cetera, and your product and service is designed for an English speaking market, right? And it would be very complicated for you to try and attract that market with like a thick accent, no English, et cetera, then put the effort into making like a faceless reel. That is the only time that I can think of. And even then I would kind of question, like, why are you going after a market that you wouldn't be part of? But there are a few business models that could make sense for, but it's rare. It's rare, right? Like it's the occasional cases like what Victoria is talking about, or some people really do it and do it well. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
And most people, we're in this space where, people are marketers or whatever will sell stuff. And again, this might be just their genius that is effortless for them. It might be a ton of work for you.
Yeah.
It's effortless for them and it's easy and it's something that they're probably playing around and doing anyway. And they're just like, and most of the time it's accidental.
There's probably some mindset work that needs to be done too, because like if you're just like, I know I need to show up online. I know my face would help. I know it would make sense for my audience. I know it would make sense for my business. I know it would make sense for me, but I still don't want to do it. There's some mindset gremlins at work there. There's I'm not pretty enough. I'm not articulate enough. I'm not whatever enough. Melanie, would you like the soapbox from the mindset perspective? Like if you don't think you're enough of something to show up online, where do you start?
I think Gary Vee said it the best. There's a clip floating around the internet of this young girl Like she's talking to him on the street and she's like, you watch, I'm going to be someone. And he just looks at her and he goes, you're someone right now. And I just, from the perspective of, are we going to wait till we hit a milestone to celebrate ourselves? Because you got to get good at celebrating yourself. You're not naturally good at it. If you were naturally good at celebrating yourself and liking yourself, you would already be so much farther than you are right now. So, it's all, everything that we do from the mindset perspective, it's like going to the gym to build muscle. It takes consistency, repetition, self-care. You have to be number one on your list. Nobody else is going to take care of you. So if you're running your own business right now at any stage of the game and you don't like social media, you got to figure out a way to like it. Like, because you just have to show up online. You can figure out a way that you like it. Take pictures, go somewhere once a month, take a bunch of pictures, have somebody on your team throw those out there. Get B-roll of yourself, whatever it is. Figure out if you like to do text on screen or if you like to do talking videos, but you got to do it. You got to get over yourself and you got to do it.
Yeah. And if it helps, you can think of it as a sprint, not like an ongoing marathon that you're never going to get off of, because like there's only so many things you can really talk about. And like one of the exercises I walk a lot of people through is a content ecosystem map. We break down all the topics you could talk about. Now you get 300, 400, 500 topics. Go create them all. Once you've created them all, you can come back and update them, but you're not going to have to create again. You have a library of stuff. Imagine you have 300 topics and you make one a week. There's only 52 weeks in a year. Okay. You wouldn't repeat any of your topics for what is that? 3 years? No.
Yeah.
Math.
Yeah.
6 years.
But here's the thing. And on top of that, after a certain amount of time, your channel will start, you'll get the questions, you'll respond, and it'll do that way before you get to that 3-year mark. Or, once you're consistent and the algorithm starts showing you more people and showing your content, then people are going to be sending you questions and wanting to pick your brain and get all these questions, and content will be the last. Or what to create will be the last of your problems.
And I mean, eventually you're going to get good at selling your stuff, right? You're going to have a steady stream of clients that have gotten success, that are telling other people about you, and that's just going to continue to build, right? And you'll be putting more effort and energy into your affiliate programs and your referral programs and collaborating with other entrepreneurs and blah, blah, blah. You are never going to work as hard for your 100th client as you did for your first.
Yeah.
Right? Like it just isn't. It's so hard in the beginning and it gets so much easier over time. Yeah. That is why we keep this entire show is consistency.
I love that. You're never going to work as hard for your 100th than you work for the first. Yeah. Those first ones, man,
Yeah, it's usually about like your first 10 good clients. Like me and my friend talked about this the other day. It's not just, some people tell you your first 10 clients. We say your first 10 good clients that you enjoyed, that enjoyed you, and that got the result that you're promising. Because your first 10 are not all going to enjoy you. You're not going to enjoy your first 10. And your first 10 are not all going to get the result. I'm sorry to tell you. Whatever you promised your first 10, if you manage to deliver that to half of them, you're doing good. For a myriad of reasons. Right? You'll get the wrong people in. You'll get people who won't do the work. You'll get people that shouldn't have bought it in the first place because they weren't equipped, and you let them buy it anyway because you didn't know better. Like there's so many reasons. So your first 10 people that you're like, got the result, you enjoyed them and they enjoyed you. That is your hardest. You will never have to work that hard again. Right? And this kind of leans into this next and last question that we've got going on here for today. How can I leverage client feedback to improve my brand? You always should. That's one.
Yeah, social proof is really good.
Yeah.
You should, but social you also making sure these are ideal clients. You applying the 80-20.
I love that. Yeah.
Here. Yeah. Because we want to be clear on what client feedback, because if it's not the right one, then you can use it, you can leverage it to say, oh, this is what I did to repel, this is what I can do to repel these kind of clients. I mean, not delivering on what you promised, not that kind of stuff. but maybe this client was a bad fit. So
Yeah.
their feedback is they were expecting something, but it was just a bad fit. But if this is an ideal client, then you need to pay attention and use that to improve and to try to see how you can get more of those. Sometimes if it's good feedback, you leverage that because people like them will actually be attracted to more people like that.
Mm.
So you put that forward and you make that a model to see, because a lot of the things we don't know what certain clients appreciate about us. There are things that we're like, really? I didn't even think that was a thing. It's so second nature to me. It's so whatever, but it's a big deal to them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big deal to someone else too. And so it helps you improve, but it also helps your marketing and your messaging, and you put it out there because you might be doing something that somebody else is looking for, but you didn't even know about it. And then, for the other side, you use it more as, you definitely take a look at it and you definitely whatever. But if it's a client, like we call them the PETA clients.
Pain in the
Yeah.
ass. Everybody who doesn't know what that means, PETA is pain in the ass.
The PETA clients.
Oh, I thought it meant good, like they're in the pocket. I'm hungry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so hungry. I don't know why I'm so hungry.
My cookie dish.
I'm waiting because it's almost noon and I'm ready to eat. So yes.
I'm sabotaged. I don't know why they're in arm's reach.
Mine are at least in the kitchen. I have to go get the whole cookie jar. Like, I bought a cookie jar and I filled it up. I'm so happy about it. That was
oh wow.
Super exciting. Yeah, that's a really good point though. It's like we don't what's the thing you say all the time, Melanie? I know it wasn't your saying, but you get it. We don't take criticism from people we wouldn't, or something to that effect.
Don't take criticism from someone you would not take advice.
There you go. And this applies to clients too. So I love that Victoria kind of brought that distinction, that it's like when you're looking at client feedback, you do have to ask yourself, is this an ideal client? Like, for example, we experienced this with the Academy. It still rotates through my mind. Like, as soon as we started talking about client feedback and negative client feedback, it was the first thing that came up. At the Academy, we've started moving to getting a lot more of our knowledge into courses so that people can go through it in a systemized way, right? Because we have these processes that people need to follow, and it's better to follow them in a certain order because they kind of build on each other. So we started putting that knowledge into courses as opposed to just like coming to campus and just chaotically experiencing whatever we're teaching in that week or in that day. And you might pick up on lesson 3 when you needed to start at 1. So it's in our students' best interest. They get the best results when it's in courses. So we've started doing that, and we lost some members because they're like, I can't learn from courses. And that really sat with me for a little bit, but I'm like, oh no, we wanted to be very inclusive and we wanted to try and make it where everybody can learn and everybody can get the result and everybody can do the thing. We had these big goals. And if some people can't learn from a course format, what do we do? And like, I was getting real swirly about it. And both my business partners were like, hang on, that's not our client.
Yeah.
If they can't learn from courses, and courses are what we have said is needed. Like, we're backing it up with on-campus support. We're backing it up with access to your mentors for questions. That way you can still figure out how to integrate it. But you need to follow the courses in order. You need to go through these lessons in order. And we have them in written format, video format. We have subtitles. We have audio. We have like all the things to make courses a lot more accessible that most people don't do. But at the end of the day, if they can't learn from courses in any way, shape, form, or fashion, written, video, audio, something, not our client, right? So that's one example. I'm not going to go change our whole business model because somebody wasn't a good fit and complained about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to sabotage the experience for the rest of the people. So I think I love that distinction. Is this even a good fit client? Is this feedback I need to incorporate? If they're a bad fit client, maybe we need to incorporate that in our messaging, right? Yeah. Knowing that some people aren't going to be able to learn from courses, knowing that we need courses to get the best experience and results, we might put into our messaging, this is how we work. The bulk of the work you're going to be doing is in courses. but there's a lot of support around that. And this is what that looks like, right? Like, so we would incorporate some of that in our messaging, again, to scare away the bad fits. We don't want the bad fits getting in. We don't want that for them. We don't want that for the other people in our world. We don't want that for us.
And even in that particular setting, it was the right fit for our model, but we have like the cohort where you're going through the courses, but it's more hands-on or whatever. That's not, but if you just.
Yeah, that is an option. Like, yeah, most of us have, like, the academy is a collection of mentors, which is a good point. You're not getting individual workshop style. Like, I run my blueprint stuff in an 8-week workshop, cohort based, with like 10 people at a time throughout the year. But you can get the exact same training in a course format in the academy. And a lot of our mentors are doing the same things, right? You can go work with the mentor directly. If that's the area that you need the most support on, you need it in a different way, you can go purchase that. Cool. And then you can come back to the academy for support, right? For between the mentor support. Because, like, if you look at what you're experiencing in our live show every week for people who are here now or that are following it, you're getting 3 very different viewpoints, but all on the same track, right? We're all speaking from the same foundation with the same type of client, the same goals for this client, but different ways that we use our superpowers to approach it. That's what you get at the academy. You get access to multiple superpowers on one problem or one opportunity that you want to take. But if you need more one-on-one hands-on advice, all of our mentors have different services that you can purchase from them, from their individual companies, from, you know, them directly, that can help guide you in a different way. Right? And a lot of people do that. We've got students that are in my blueprint workshop. We have got students that are in Melanie's programs doing her entrepreneurial glow up. And I know you renamed it and about to update your website for that. I don't remember what it's called now, but she's got a guided program like I do where you can go through that and get a specific result on the outside. And it's great to do that, right? You're going to move faster if you can, but if you can't, the academy is a great holder for all of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully that made sense. I feel like that was a little bit all over the place. Today is just an all over the place kind of day. I don't know what it is. It's a June bug energy kind of day.
Yes.
For people who don't know what June bugging is.
Definitely bopping around.
Yeah. Do you want to describe June bugging and its value?
Oh, June bugging. June bugging is just going randomly from task to task to get things done that are all sort of at the same energy level. So tidy up the kitchen table, maybe sweep the back door area, go pick up the kid from school, you know, maybe do some topical stuff in your business, nothing that's like major, right? Like I might film some B-roll today. I'm going to send an email out, but you know, I'm not going to sit down and like really get into the flow state about something today. We're just going to bounce back and forth like a June bug.
And that's really helpful for neurodivergent brains. And it is like, you even had an experience with one of our students, one of your clients, where she was like having June bug energy day. And she's like, I didn't get anything done.
It was terrible what she did to me. It hurt my feelings. I was messaging her on a Sunday and I said, how was your weekend? And she goes, man, I was low energy. I really didn't get a lot done. I just did this and this and this and this and this and this. And like, literally I'm watching this message going, do I need to rewatch this? I thought she said she didn't get a lot done. And I messaged her back. I said, you said you didn't get a lot done. Are you playing a joke on me? And she goes, no, I mean, I guess I did get a lot done. I didn't realize how much I can do from the comfort of my own couch. Like it was that sort of day. And so she learned if you make your schedule in alignment with your energy level and your capacity, it's remarkable what you can get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some days are focus days. Some days are June bug days. Some days are recharge my battery days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get the right people in a lot of us are afraid if we have to tell somebody like, I just don't have the right energy. I need to cancel today. Or I am just not feeling super productive today. I don't know what I'm going to get done. Well, a lot of us are afraid of the backlash we're going to get from clients, from business partners, from, you know, other people in our life. I'm going to tell you, there is nothing like being surrounded by people who will lift you up. There have been so many days where I'm just like, I am not feeling it today. I'm so sorry I didn't get stuff done. I'm messaging Victoria and Melanie, and I'm like, I just, and they're like, no, good. That sounds like a chill day is what you need to do. Like a rest day is what you need to do today. And I'm like, oh, right? Because I'm so used to somebody being like, well, can you at least do this today? Like, this way, like, You can do a little bit of something today. Like, I'm used to that response. And to have people in your world, they're like, cool, so you must have needed to rest today. You need that in your life. Yeah. You need that in your life, right? Because we're not out here being lazy. We're out here trying, and we're doing our best. And our best is enough. It's good enough. And some days the best is I slept in until 11, 12 o'clock. I finished my breakfast at like 2, and I did an hour of something useful today outside of rest.
Also, with being women, we don't get that permission from anyone. Because our society is built around men, and it's on and off. They don't have all of these like whatever like we do. And so the corporate world doesn't cater to it. No one caters to our fluctuating energy levels. But we're still supposed to show up at a 10 every day. That does not work.
From sun up to sundown. And even after the sun goes down, if you didn't have productive enough sleep, that's on you too.
Yeah. And everybody else, it's like, take care of everybody else. And if you have a smidgen of time, then you get to do something for yourself.
That is the worst. I have gotten on to everybody in my life when they start a sentence with the phrase, if you have time. Like, I never have time. If you ask me to do something that I want to do and I feel motivated to do, and like I feel like this is something I want, then I will make the time. But it doesn't just exist. I already have plans for it. Whether that's me sleeping in or doing some work or cleaning a thing, like I have allocated my time in the way that I want to use it. If you would like to borrow some of it, you need to explain to me why.
I just reposted to my Instagram a little saying card that says, time is the only currency that you'll ever spend without ever knowing your balance. Use it wisely.
Oh.
And I was like, oh boy, I mean, you're not wrong. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh.
I know. Yeah.
That's another whole soapbox moment.
I know. It cuts like a knife. But it puts things into perspective.
Next week, cliffhanger.
It does. Well, I mean, that's why you see people as they get older, they're getting a little bit more motivated and a little less willing to go on life's detours and stuff like that. Like, we've been talking about that in this latest cohort. We've had several people that are like in their 50s and their 60s, later in life, starting businesses. And they just don't play around. They're like, they ask me the hard questions. They're like, how do I make sure this is going to work within the next 5 years? How do I make sure this is going to make money and I'm not going down some other just little trail that I'm going to regret? Because like, I ain't got enough time in my life to be doing that.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't have 5-10 years to experiment. I need to do something that's going to work. Right. So it's like, the older you get, the more serious you get and the less willing you are to take shit. So like, if there was anything I could look back at my 20, 30-year-old self and say, I'd be like, quit taking shit now. Like, we're not waiting until we're 40, 50 years old to start figuring out that we prioritize ourselves. Can we do that in our 20s and our 30s, please? Thank you. That would be nice.
Yeah. Or waiting until it's the right time, waiting till you feel ready and it's the perfect time and life has calmed down. If I hear one more person say, oh yeah, I was going to start that when life calms down. Okay. When does that happen? Because I've been waiting on that for 38 years.
I'm like done with college. I get the kids done with school. I get the yeah. I'm gonna tell you, I put my life on hold until my kids are adults and out of high school and all that kind of stuff. Please don't. Please don't. It's a mistake. Not just because you deserve to prioritize yourself and what you'll be able to do for your family is so much greater if you do, but also because you have to model that for your children. I'm having to go back now and reteach my 19 and 20-year-old how to prioritize themselves because I didn't model it. You know, I didn't know I was neurodivergent until I was, 38 years old. I didn't know. So I didn't know they were, because that's the gauge for children, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, that's normal. I do that too. So yeah. Don't wait. Moral of the story.
To punctuate your point before we leave, there was a big study done that figured out the number one indicator for a child to grow up and be happy and successful and fulfilled, the number one indicator in their childhood was the quality of the mom's happiness and fulfillment. So if you are a mom and you're putting your own happiness on hold to make your kids happy, you're hurting them in the long run. The best thing you can possibly do is pursue your own fulfillment while raising your kids.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Like the energy and the vibe in my house since I started working with Melanie and working on my mindset and learning to prioritize myself, night and day. Night and day. Like there was just this constant anxiety thread wafting through the house all of the time. And then I start prioritizing myself, and that just got a breath of fresh air and it's gone. And now, like, if you've ever noticed as a mom, if you turn on some music or whatever makes you happy and you're bopping and dancing around and you're cooking some food and you're having like a good time and you're like whatever, and your family comes in, and no matter what day they're having, it turns around. Your mood's really infectious.
Yeah.
That's the power we have as moms.
Yeah.
And even if you put on airs and you put on that smile like we're all supposed to do, smile all the time until our cheeks fall off, even if you fake it, it doesn't create that energy, right? It doesn't create, you got to feel it. When you feel it, you can change the energy in your entire house. Like I've done that, I don't know how many times. When people are having a bad day and I'm having a good day and I'm like, I don't want to have a bad day right now. I'm like, let's turn some music on, let's dance, and I'll goof off with them for like a few minutes and the whole mood changes.
You know, one of my friends, you know, she took a sabbatical from her husband. I mean, she took it from her husband and the kids, and to get herself together. And she could have been shamed, and she probably would have been if it was more public, up, left, and center, because she decided to prioritize herself. And it was a radical move. But her husband, when they rekindled and they got back together after a few years, he said something to her. He said, "I realized that what is best for you is what's best for this family."
Mm-hmm.
So what he wanted, he learned to prioritize her over what he wanted in the moment. He's like, "I want you back now, but I've also learned that what is best for you is what's best for this family."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be, it's funny,
And
there's a lot of parallels. That applies to business as well as to personal life. What's best for the entrepreneur is best for the business. What's best for the entrepreneur is best for the staff. What's best for the entrepreneur is best for the client.
Right.
Right. If you're happy, healthy, focused on what you want, moving towards a mission, you're more consistent, you're better able to get the results, you're narrowed in on helping a specific type of person do a specific type of thing, the overall outcome is going to be better for everybody involved.
Right. Like they say, as goes the leader, goes the rest of the team. So if you're all over the place and you're chaotic and you're out of it, your business is going to do that. The team is going to be that. And of course, the client results are going to show up, and it's just all going to flow right on down. So do what's best for you and have that trickle down.
With great power comes great responsibility. On that note, head over to the Neuro-Spicy-Academy.com. Come join us. Experience this on the daily, but specifically for your business, your problems, your questions, your opportunities, and your solutions. Because that's what we're here for, to help you get where you want to go faster, easier, and with a greater chance of success. We will see you guys again next week. Bye. Hit the button and happy statues.